should banks disclose upfront that they have been mandated by the RBI to make these excess provisions of 1,231 crore in Axis Bank's case? When they come out with quarterly updates, Axis Bank hasn't come out with a quarterly update, but typically it had the option to come out and provide this number or not, or do you wait for the result? I think essentially that's what Sajit is asking.
You know, Harsh, I was hearing your commentary on one of the brokerages saying that X of the technical write-offs, the asset quality continues to remain strong. But then X of the whole of asset quality, the profit has also gone up. You cannot say that technical write-offs are one-off and we will ignore them. Technical write-offs are because they have classified an asset which according to RBI was an NPA, but they have not classified as an NPA. In Axis' case, ever since Innocent's fiasco came out, being that Axis' asset quality will take a hit because of this one-offs, the result is really very poor. You cannot ignore technical write-offs. Every year, if the management comes and says once there's a technical write-off, it really does hit the asset quality per se and the profits. So from my perspective, this should not be taken really very lightly. The results are particularly very disappointing. The loan growth from my perspective year on year at 10 to 11% is slower than what other banks did. Mind you, HDFC Bank with their NIM problems does do a 10 to 11% growth, and I don't think Axis Bank has any of those technical problems. So from my perspective, slower loan growth, slower deposit growth, together bundled with the asset quality problems and the one-time write-offs, I don't think that the next level rating for Axis Bank with respect price to book moving up from 1 to 2 times or 2.5 times is going to really happen until a lot of these niggles are really solved. So from my perspective, very disappointed with the results. First point. Second point, asset quality across the sector. If you look at HDB Financial as well, their asset quality also deteriorated from that from a NPA perspective. So asset quality is a concern for a lot of these banks, and those banks where asset quality does not take a hit are the ones which start to move up. In my all probability, ICICI, HDFC, Kotak, or to that matter SBI as well,
Aditya,
will be the ones where asset quality will be there.
Aditya, yeah. I'll just come to you on the rest in a bit. Do you believe this quarter for Axis is a washout quarter? All of the negatives are now factored. Do you have comfort on the fact that the visibility going forward is likely to be better, or would you still be a question mark with regard to that? Because what most analysts seem to be saying is that the valuations provide enough comfort, at least for the size and the book that Axis currently has. So they seem comfortable with regard to the upside, and therefore trying to ask you, what's your sense? The washout is done and the cleanup is done, and going forward, is it all positive?
The valuation does seem comfortable for Axis Bank, but there should not be any more surprises as there were in this quarter. So it's really hard for any analyst to say that in the future such kind of write-offs will not come in. So I'm tread with a lot of caution on the write-offs. Only over a period of next 6 to 12 months, if there is no technical write-offs, then you can say that okay, the valuations are low, and there is a chance of re-rating process. So asset quality for Axis Bank is something that has to be watched out for over the period of next 6 to 12 months. If they're able to maintain, forget about improvement in asset quality, if they're able to maintain the asset quality, market would take a note of it, and the stock will start to do well and maybe also have some re-rating.
Right. Okay. Great to have you then on the show, Aditya. Thanks as much.